So when I was preparing this presentation here, I thought, how interesting can this possibly be and how much can I explain to it? So pondering and just reviewing all, this is my third convention now, and watching all the committee meeting presentations from the units and some of the other committees, and thinking of it as the Constitution Committee Convention, both sort of part and parcel. The last one we did was unity through participation. So just listening the last two hours or so to all these committees and their presentations, you're certainly doing what the convention was set out to have done over the course of the last 3 years. You know, some of us have been somewhat discouraged just because you think that the members aren't participating, but you're clearly showing that the units are functioning. You're clearly showing that results of the convention are improving the union over the course of 3 years at a time. So the committee members that we have is myself, Mark Gallant. We have Mike Fleming, this is your second time around on the convention, or Constitution Committee, yeah? And Joe Doyle. Don Levesque was unavailable this weekend, so also Brian Dance is among us, yeah? Thank you very much. What is a constitution? By definition, I looked up this on Wikipedia before. I had some consultancy help as well, and I tried to look for an interesting form of, or an interesting description of what it is, and ultimately they all come back to the same thing. By definition, a constitution is a body of fundamental principles or established precedents according to which a state other organization is acknowledged to be governed. The foundation of CUSW Constitution, which contains essentially 11 values and beliefs, which came from the last convention, 22 articles and 4 policies. Articles versus policies. Articles can be amended at the convention based on the votes of the member delegates attending. Policies can be put forward at any time, usually through the relative committee. As we experienced this morning, and we had Joe elaborate on it a little bit more, it has been identified now that if it's of an emergent nature, or if somebody feels that passionate about it, we can make the evolution happen before the time in between conventions. A course in the Alliance Learning Take the Lead series explains the difference between the Constitution and the collective agreement. And yeah, it's through the Alliance Learning. The Training Trust Committee also elaborated on that as well. There's also other articles that could help you understand this a little bit more through the Innovation Station. So at the convention, every 3 years, as set out in the Constitution, we have an opportunity to share ideas, formerly called resolutions, with the aim of strengthening our Constitution, to review the guiding principles and update them, keep them in line with the emerging ideas of the times. I just want to take 2 minutes here, if you can look at page 25, just so I can give you a brief explanation of what's going to transpire tomorrow. It actually starts on 24, so right where it says accept or reject. The Resolution Constitution Committee examines each resolution very carefully to decide whether they believe its adoption would be in the best interest of the Union as a whole. They examine the resolution with respect to how it aligns or conflicts with other articles in the Constitution. If they think the resolution should be adopted, they recommend accept. If not, they recommend to reject. During the convention, the chair of the Resolution Constitution Committee presents each resolution to the floor in turn. As each resolution is presented, the committee chair tells the delegates whether the committee recommends to be accepted or rejected. This is the important part. When the delegates vote, they vote on the committee's recommendation, not on the resolution itself. New delegates sometimes find this confusing. The other part that I wanted to elaborate on is again, this is my third convention, and the most passionate resolution last time was the one where it was to remove the health and safety representative and the steward from the units. And again, when I read and when I hear all these committee reports here, and you see the social aspect of the unit meetings improving, and you know, you have a higher attendance rate, but then on the other side of the coin, you hear, or we miss our workplace reports, and we need that assurance in the field that we know what's going on. I think it's an improvement both ways, but if I remember one thing from the convention last time, it was the back and forth in the whole adjudication process or the whole debate that went back and forth, and it was quite a moving experience and a very much a learning experience, and here we are benefiting from the results of it. So the table shows below again, and they elaborated on it, how a delegate will vote under each of the four possible situations. I'm not going to go through each one. It's clearly defined there, and if anybody has any questions between tonight and tomorrow, feel free to approach any one of us, and we'll explain it to you that way. Be informed and review. Sorry, I wanted to talk about that when I was one step ahead. So, our vision. Obviously, as a committee, we aim to try to work with all members to ensure that the Constitution is at the forefront of our behavior each and every day. So essentially from that, we want to be as transparent as we possibly can. CUSW will achieve this transparency as more committees are built on and also have participation on through the members. The more people are talking about it, obviously the faster things get resolved or new ideas come to the forefront and we can implement them into our Constitution and our everyday lives. Here's an age-old, one of the historical phrases from CUSW, one of the first ones that I probably remember is working today for building for tomorrow. It's one of the objectives that has remained true for probably the last 20 years, so hopefully taking away from that, have that always in the back of your head. Members in the community. One of the developing goals is to be an active member in the community. We should also look at this ways of improving the welfare of our members and retirees, but of all people. Our Constitution provides a gateway to extending our values, beliefs, and visions into our communities. By implementing the basic principles of our Constitution, we help to improve the well-being of those around us. When we talk about that, we welcome to embrace the green card members, which are non-bargaining active members that want to participate in CUSW, the Aboriginal sector throughout Canada and North America, and anybody that just wants to belong with CUSW. In conclusion, I would highly recommend reading Joe's convention backgrounder. It's in your package. It's got a lot of current event issues that are going on, along with some of the history of probably the last 10 years or so. And remember to not minimize the message of embracing diversity in communities or our workplaces. I'm asking everybody to be an advocate regardless of how small you think what you believe in is true, and also be a mentor. In the Wagner Act, every time that I've ever had consultancy with Joe or John, they always refer to the Wagner Act. Inside your package, this sheet here. Review it later because it talks about, part of the goal this weekend was talking about industrial democracy. And I think they hit it on it several times here, especially at the bottom part, with the means of providing the work for the workers' lives in industry, the sense of worth, freedom, and participation that democratic governments promises them as citizens. It's easy to look short-sighted at the items that are, wages and personal gain here, but we have to look at the larger picture and accept this ideology that essentially came out in 1935. And you spoke about the level of the level of unionized work in the United States and that of Canada is obviously we have to move forward and keep this going. That's pretty much it. Thank you.